baby's home. Cairo, Cairo is my baby's home. Going back to Cairo now won't be long. Women in Cairo, they will treat you kind and sweet. Women in Cairo, they will treat you kind and sweet. Catch you around and take you off your feet. Shoot you and knock you, teach you and cut you too. Shoot you and knock you, teach you and cut you too. They get through the graveyard, then for you. Cairo, babe. Cairo, Cairo, babe. Women in Cairo send you down to your grave.
Hi everyone, G. Albert. You hit me with a question right away. I guess you know the answer. All right. Oh, I've been missing this. I haven't done this for quite a. I've been missing this. Sorry. I've been missing it so much that I'm confused which microphone to put on. And there's a reason for that, so I'll repeat it. Wonderful to be back. 2 weeks of not live streaming. That was not fun. So, and I've moved loads of stuff in the studio, so I'm kind of still finding my ways back to the routines. But it's been so much fun, and I've had some live gigs, I've done some teaching, and I'll tell you all about it. Just a second. So, oh, Graham, great to see you. Let me see now. Albert, please explain the question. Graham, thanks so much for all your hard work and help and a great performance during the Blues Week at Hartbury College in the UK. I've had a blast. It was a great week. Fantastic. So, all right. So today we're going to go through some things that have happened since we saw each other last time. Hello, Eric. It says person turquoise waving. Uh, this live streaming software is not smart enough for YouTube smileys and those funny figures, but I know which one that is. Great to see you too. Right. Um, so what I've been doing for these past 2 weeks. So first I had my own retreat, and then after the retreat, I had a live stream where I announced that I'll be soon traveling to the UK for the Blues Week program, which I've done. All that was great. Then I spent a couple of days in London with my daughter, and then I got back, started practicing for the gig that I had this weekend with Maria Stille as Delmore sessions. So we played some old-timey stuff. And in the meantime, I've ordered this new microphone that I've been wanting for several years now. And it's not that I have to have one new microphone, but the reason for that is one of the practicalities when it comes to live streaming and especially live performances as well, because it is better than the old SM58 by Shure that I've been using for ages. I've had that one microphone since beginning 90s. Maybe it's even from the 80s when I bought it. And I've had it with me all these years and it's been working flawlessly. It's a great mic. You need to sing very close to it. As soon as you move the microphone a little bit away from your mouth, you're losing, let's say, some proximity effect. You're losing a bass in your voice. And if you're not B.B. King, I've seen B.B. King singing like this far away from that mic, and it just sounded great. BB is BB. But us mortals have to deal with some issues there. And there are advantages to having a dynamic microphone that's very close proximity mic, which means it will grab you very close, but not too much of any signal that's coming from the stage and all that. That's why that microphone has become an industry standard, because it's not going to interfere with anything else on stage. It's not going to grab the horns playing behind you or something. It's just great and reliable. At the same time, when it comes to live streaming situations, you need a microphone that will grab a little bit wider area, because right now my microphones are above my head, some maybe this far away, 25 centimeters. What's that in inches? 9 inches or something. So that proximity effect needs to be dealt with, because I'm moving around. Let's say turning my head. I want to show something else behind me. And actually, the only really good audio is when I'm turned towards the camera and towards the microphone, and the microphone is pointing down at me. For that, I bought a kind of a solution all-in-one, Shure MV7, and I'll be showing you that with another camera in a second. So I bought that microphone for live streaming and for practicalities of, pandemic. You need a microphone that can work on Zoom in any situation, and it needed to have a USB connection, XLR connection to be used with a audio interface and everything else. So I bought that MV7 because I didn't want to fork out like $400 or more for the SM7B, which is another industry standard for studio microphones and vocal microphones, podcasts, TV studios, and it's used in everything. It's fantastic, but the sound of that mic is quite boomy, and it's not really suitable for my voice. I've tested it several times, and while I could sing through it, it was not really good for the speech. At the same time, I thought, okay, MV7 is around $230, $40. I got me that one, and I've had it since 2020, and it's a great mic. I've been using it on my live streams all the time. Right now, you're listening to that mic with just a generic setting called broadcast in my audio interface. If I just press on one button here, now you're hearing that microphone with a processing, which means it's a bit gated, which means that when I don't speak, the signal is just chopped off. Nothing else is coming in. When I start speaking, then even though some background noise can be, let's say my lights, some fans are running in the background, but that doesn't come into the signal that you're hearing because my voice is stronger than that. So let me just go back to that broadcast setting, which would be this. And this is just, mic is open for all influences from audio from all around the room. But I wanted another microphone that's even broader. In the MV7 is a dynamic microphone, which means doesn't need any phantom power. You just plug it in, and if you have enough gain to push it in the mixing console or on your audio interface, you're good. And that's what I'm doing now. That's that sound. I will now switch to another microphone. So now you're listening to me on another microphone. That's supposed to be the new one that I'll be using. And that's also on broadcast settings. I have a little bit more gain to that microphone because it's a condenser mic, and I needed to push it just a little bit more now. But the thing with this microphone is also that it's picking up a little bit more of the sound of the room. So if you are considering doing something similar, like a live stream or a podcast, I will need to treat this room a little bit. Maybe hang some more, I don't know, something that will absorb the sound, maybe acoustic plates of some kind or whatever. So the difference between this microphone and the other one is exactly this. This microphone does not take so much of the room sound, but the other one, this one, the new one, is a little bit more forgiving when it comes to proximity. So which means I can move a little bit back like this and it's still grabbing my voice. So I can, go like, grab some stuff, turn around, and it's going to be kind of more forgiving for my movements, physical movements in front of the microphone, beneath, and all that. Right now I have a kind of temporary solution of having both microphones above me, and one is on, well, let me show you. That's the easiest. First of all, I'll show you which microphone I bought. It's the SR314 by Earthworks, and that's, oh, this is cool. They have a Swedish singer on their homepage for the microphone. Anyway, so this microphone is a great sounding vocal microphone. So actually, I bought 3 things in one: podcasting microphone, live streaming microphone, and the live sound. And I sang through it this Saturday when I was playing a gig on the Malmö Festival in Sweden. Sounded great. So I'm quite happy with that. I did fork out some cash, of course, but I'm always investing in company, and I needed a new challenge for the better sound. So this is my setup for the moment. This is the old microphone, this one to the right, MV7. It doesn't look like this on the website and when you buy it in the store, because this is special colors that are on this one I've chosen. And this is the Earthworks, so I bought the silver version. And they are connected both through Rodecaster Pro 2. And both of these microphones have this broadcast setting. I will tailor the sound of this new microphone later on, and we'll see how that goes. Okay, maybe a little bit more behind the scenes. This is how it all looks when I'm live streaming, guys. And this is my main camera when I'm talking to you, when I'm looking at you. This is the camera that's grabbing my right hand, picking hand, and this is the camera for my fretting hand. And my notes, and the web browser that I'm showing you guys. And that's it. Right. So, what I've been up to, this the last event that I've had was the Blues Week in the UK. I don't know, around 100 people, instructors from all around the world, Germany, US, UK. I'm from Sweden, but originally from Serbia. So it's like a very international core when it comes to instructors. It was great. I've met some great new people that I've never met before, like Rainer Brunn, a great guitar player from Germany. Likewise, Lightning Wells, fantastic old-timer picker, singer, storyteller. He's an amazing guy. And Tom Feldman, a new star on the blues heaven, the guy who just he blew up several years ago by being one of those fantastic interpreters of classic old blues stuff, where he had instructional videos on a really, really high level. And he's a great performer as well, because all of us performed a couple of songs for the audience during the Blues Week. And it was amazing to meet those guys. And of course, the director of Blues Week, Michael Roach, and all fantastic students and my colleagues from UK, Abby Budgeon, Eddie Martin, Adam Franklin, who did I forget? Mouth harmonica teachers, Will Wild, Derek Dermody, Grant Dermody, sorry, and little George Surif. And it was a blast. But you know what's my biggest takeout from the Blues Week? I have to show you that. It's this. We had a kind of a flea market over there, and people just brought their old books, records, everything they maybe didn't need or wanted to swap or something. So I got me that. It's a complete discography by Muddy Waters, he's my house god. It's just like, okay, there may be more significant artists within blues for some people, but for me, Muddy has changed my world, my perception of how to play, how to sing, how to act. And it's just amazing to be able to just go through this book and see all recording sessions, exactly who played what, when it was recorded, how many takes there were taken. It's just amazing. And of course, some fantastic footage from those years. And it's just fantastic. Right. So that's what I did in the UK. Today, we're going to do the live blues backup in standard E tuning, 2 songs, and then I'm going to do one more a little bit later in open D. But the lick of the week or the song of the week is going to be in open G. And let me tease you, it's going to be Mama Don't Allow, an old standard in many jamming situations. It's not even considered as blues, but it was sung by both blues artists and country artists and loads of people. I remember hearing it for the first time by Jose Feliciano in the 70s, God. But then later on, I went back in time and heard some even older versions, whatever. But there's a really nice catch when you play that song in open G and with slide. Very suitable for beginners. So if you've never played slide, I'll show you a very, very simple melody and the movements with the slide that you can really reach even if you are just a true beginner. Right. Let me see who else is here. So the K-roll, your intro song, K-roll. Sorry, man. Exactly. Yeah. It's what's it called? Houston Stockhouse, who plays with another guitar player. Both of them amazing. This was recorded in the 80s when they were quite old. So he's singing K-roll. But I guess you understand that you're a Native American. For me, it was like, what were they singing? Cairo? Cairo is in Egypt. What is this? But then there are Henry Townsend and many other artists recorded Cairo blues. So I figured out later on what it all meant. Well, thank you, sir. I might show it again just for David. Why not? Why should he watch the replay? We got plenty of time. So let's do it that way. So David, hello. Dear sir, this is the MV7, the old one, and this is the new Earthworks SR314 that I'm speaking into now. And you know, the proximity effect, there's one special thing about this microphone, this one. You see, the capsule, I put them basically in the same line. It's a bit, maybe this is a little bit more forward, but the capsule of this microphone is somewhere there. You can even see it through the grill, right? So they're kind of even. I wanted to make them on the same proximity. But if I engage now the old microphone, the MV7, right? Now it doesn't have this little cap on. So if I would put that cap on again, it would decrease a little bit of the trebles and add a bit more basses. This is a very good foam, and it's kind of eliminating those, you know, pops. Peter Piper, order pizza pronto, PPP, right? Going back to that, so it should be a little bit less trebles in the voice. So this is the old sound, generic setting in the Rodecaster Pro 2, and this is the new mic, also broadcast generic settings, nothing else. Right. Live blues backups. Let's go. I've played my retreat and then the whole blues week with the same set of strings that were quite old. And the last day of the blues week, they really died. My guitar didn't sound like anything, so I had to change them. And you guys know that I don't really like the sound of new strings. I kind of enjoy the a little bit aged strings on the guitar, and yeah, but it will happen eventually. But right now the guitar sounds like this. Not yet. Right. And for those of you who are maybe watching with your headphones on, which means you'll get much better audio, I've also done something new with the audio settings. I kind of paired my two guitar microphones in stereo, and I've panned them a little bit left to right. So now I'll just very softly knock on one microphone, and that should be more in your right ear, and in the left side of your record player is this microphone. So those two together go like this. And now if I would, let's say, sing you something, my voice should be in the middle and the guitar a little bit to the sides, not too much. Go like this. Let it rain, let it pour, let it rain a whole lot more, 'cause I got them deep river blues. Let the rain dry right on, let the wind now sweep along, 'cause I got them deep river blues. At first I wanted to kind of make them even more panned to the left or right, but I just had, no, I thought it'd be too much maybe. So here we go. Live blues backup, standard tuning, slow blues in E. couple of things I haven't done before. One of them was this. And that goes in any of the. So it goes on top of 1, 2, 3, 4 with the basses. If you cannot play together with the basses, it's a matter of getting into a habit of doing that and doing it over a couple of years maybe. But it's like if you just practice this. So that's the first part. Open second string, second fret, open first string, and then you glide from third to fourth fret. Right? And then you play open second string, and then you place your hands on the E chord, but with a sus or sus on pinky on a third string, second fret. So all together. And then you have a hammer on the first fret of the third string in E. So. And you top it with an open first string. So this could be a nice little kind of exercise to do without having to have the basses going all the time, right? So right, and then the next thing I did, I was fooling around on the A chord. Going back to E. So this is actually a part of a form of A7/9 chord. Sounds more dangerous than it is. It's that you just press these two basses on the 12th fret, and then on 5th string, then 11th fret of the 4th string, and then all the other strings are just pressed with one finger, with my ring finger here. You can even release the 5th string, play it open, because it's A7/9, right? Accordingly, E7/9 is on the 7th fret. And you know that it's E because it's following the name of the notes on the 5th string. So it starts on A on the 5th string, and then you have the BB 7/9, then B7/9, C7/9, C sharp, D, and all the way up to A. But I only used, which sounds nice, isolated, sounds like sharp, and with a reason to play that way, because that was leading me to this. And this is actually going from A to E again. And this is a part of E, 7/9, those two notes. And I'm sure if you've been listening to blues, you will recognize this. Right? So those notes can be played on the 1st and 3rd string only. Okay? But then it's very important that you meet these licks with the right bass note, because that's what's telling in which chord we are. So I'm going to A, back to E, and so on. And in the ending, I had this lick. It's actually just using same frets for both strings and going from 12, 9, 7, and then either like this, 3rd fret, 2nd, open, or on the 4th fret, and all combinations of notes in that area. So that's what I did there. Let's go to the next backup, which is going to be a bit of a a version of maybe Bye Bye Blues or similar grooves, maybe even resemblant of the K-roll blues that I always have as an intro. So K-roll that comes in. Albert, you're hilarious. All right, so the K-roll song as a blues backup number 2. Oh, it's so good to be back. Great. So, and so on and so on. So this was very much related to the theme for today, which is originality in your musical expression, which can be both as a instrumentalist and as a singer. I've been thinking a lot about that over the years. Definitely not in the beginning when I was playing, because I was so impressed and very influenced by some players that I just wanted to know how the hell are they doing what they're doing, and why are they putting those notes when they're putting them. So it's like, how do I check that? How do I make sure that I know what they're doing? Well, I bought records and I listened to them and listened to them. There were no books, which doesn't tell so much that I'm, a good listener and I have a fantastic ear and I was able to pick everything by ear and all that. Yeah, but it took time. Kids nowadays, and I'm just a little bit jealous about that because I definitely go faster. But kids nowadays have YouTube, have these enormous resources online to learn and just to see how the old masters were doing it, and even videos of old artists when where you can see how they were grabbing the chords and everything. I didn't have any of that when I was like 18, 19, 20 to maybe 27, 28. I think I bought my first and I got my first VHS tape when I was like 28, 29. And the only thing I could get hold of was, thank God, homespun tapes with some great videos by, I think, John Miller. Stefan Grossman was doing his own stuff already. And but actually, I could never really learn from videos like that because I wasn't used to that. I needed to hear things. So with that said, the way I've started playing was to imitate my idols all the time and tried to do exactly the same as they were doing. And I'll tell you more about it in a second. I just want to cover these comments. David, as usual, wonderful live stream today. Really enjoyed it. And yeah, so you love the right hand picking style. Thank you. I rarely use a pick at home or in these live streams. I would definitely use a thumb pick like this when I'm playing live. Let me just move my head. Come on, focus on that. You nice camera. That's it. So it's a thumb pick that I put on like this, right? And what that gives is this much punchier sound, a bit too harsh for studio environment like this. And if I would play the same lick as I did before, and now without, you see this nice smooth bass. I can never get that with a thumb pick. But when I play live and I play through this magnetic pickup that I have on the guitar, that craves another punch, another technique of playing, and I have the rest of my chain of my audio through my pedals, effect processors, everything that makes the live sound and really big. I really feel better when I play with a thumb pick. And then this thumb pick also has like 3 sound colors. Let's say the first one is this punchy. Let's say this. Right? If I play shuffles, if I go like this, that's first sound. The second sound is if I angle it a little bit like this. It's audible even like this, just acoustic guitar, right? But with the pickup and the amplifier, big loudspeakers and everything, it's really punchy. It gets this wow, 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 right? The third sound is, especially when I play live, is this, that I angle the thumb pick downwards like this, and it's coming, now it's kind of cutting through this sound acoustically, I know, but I'm using that for kind of tempo brushing, like it's almost like having a flat pick in your hand, and grabbing that kind of sound. I can always kind of soften it by angling so much that I almost don't even use the thumb pick, but it's mostly my thumb, like. But then, and I use this technique when I sing Natural Born Gambling Man. I can demonstrate that for a second. Well, you ask me why I ramble, and you want to know why I roam. I wonder why I run around, ain't never had a home. My daddy was a rambler, and I ramble all over the land. And I'm just a chip off the good old block, I'm a natural born gambling man. I'm a natural born gambling man. I'm a natural... Right, so the refrain when I sing this verse is played with a regular finger picking and the solo as well. So that gives you like 2 dimensions of your backup pattern, and then while you're singing the verse. Because when I'm singing the verse, I need some little syncopation, but basically I don't want to draw attention from the voice and the singing and the storytelling, because this is a really great story. Natural Born Gambling Man by Merle Travis, by the way. It's great. Yeah. All right. So let's go to the originality. I have prepared something. I think I'll just change up here. Music, speech. There. So let me present you one of my fantastic colleagues. We never met. We only spoke on the phone once when I tried to book him for a festival in Serbia many years ago, but we just couldn't arrange anything because of the dates that weren't suitable. Otherwise, he'd be happy to come and all that. Jeff Muldaur, ladies and gentlemen, a gentleman musician who started his musical journey in the 50s, cut his teeth on old blues material through the 60s, and started playing with bigger bands and performing in the 70s. And I think the peak of his career, in my humble opinion, it was beginning 80s or something, when he started in different bands, constellations. But I've heard him for the first time with Better Days, and that was a band with Paul Butterfield on mouth harmonica, Amos Garrett playing guitar, Jeff Muldaur playing the guitar and singing, and I'm sorry I don't remember the rest of the members, but that band was just absolutely amazing. I loved everything they were doing, and Jeff had a very special way of phrasing on the acoustic guitar. And I remember when we come to originality, let me just start with this first. If anybody has ever heard a song by Eric von Schmidt called Rule the Road, then this is a way I've learned to play this from Jeff Muldaur's record. So it's a little homage to Jeff and the way how he phrased, and I'll show you how that influenced another thing that I've done later on, much later on. So, let's see. Okay. I'll have to remember it was a long time ago. But okay. Oh, sorry. All right. Standing by the highway, by the Hellfest Inn, I've been there before, gonna go there again, and so on and so on. And it ends with the phrase, but remember, buddy, don't try to rule the road. And then the solo comes and everything else. This song that I've heard showed me some voicings for, let's say, E chord, which starts with a D7, but with the open first string, and then E7, sorry, but then I didn't even bother knowing what that is. I just loved how it sounded. I found it, and then to B, and then E. And then later on, I've heard a song called Finding Blind Lemon, or Looking for Blind Lemon. You're gonna buy lemon, and so on. And that's where I heard for the first time this a lick of that kind, like. Now, listen to this. This is the original intro by Robert Jr. Lockwood, who played this as an intro to song Take a Little Walk with Me, which many people think is just a ripoff of the Sweet Home Chicago by Robert Johnson, who was his uncle, right? So it's like everything is connected. Everybody influences everybody. So what creates and what hurts the originality of someone's musical expression? Can you play just as the original artist did on the guitar, but then add your own way of singing, which can be so unique that nobody even thinks about what you're playing on the guitar, and they're just listening to your voice? Or do you need to change everything in order to be, entitled to call oh, this is my version of that song, right? Original version of Sweet Home Chicago is played like a baby, don't you want, and so on. Blues Brothers movie and many other bands later on just put the same song into a fast shuffle. Come on, baby, don't you wanna go, and so on. When a band starts playing this song and just grabbing this shuffly, very recognizable trademark kind of lick, like it started with a Chicago blues shuffle and then evolved into a bit more rocky stuff sometimes and all that. I cannot listen to that from any band if the singer isn't exceptionally good. Because if you're just doing exactly the same thing as many others did before you, you have to have a part of the expression that's yours only, the band's only, somehow. I don't know. Maybe I'm a little bit harsh here to some of my colleagues and other. I apologize for that, but it's just like I've been playing festivals for 40 years and just listening to very, very similar acts doing the same stuff all over again and all that. And I'm guilty of all charges of repeating myself on many of those occasions, because you have your program, you do it, and that's it. But let's go back to this original. Before that, we'll listen to Jeff just telling a little story. It's very short, about him being influenced by Eric von Schmidt and how to create his own expression as a musician. So let's go there.
Working other people's stuff into you. So anyway, one of the luckiest things that happened to me in my life was ending up in Cambridge, Massachusetts. The folk scene up there, there were some key people who did tunes, old songs, etc., but they weren't copying them the way later people were able to do. A lot of what went on for us was we probably couldn't figure out what certain people were doing. I don't know. But especially Eric von Schmidt sort of set the tone for me. He was the first guy I heard, a white blues singer who poured his heart out in a certain way that was incredibly individualistic. He came up with ideas on the guitar that were completely his own, even though he loved the material he was singing from. And this set the thing for me for I guess, for the rest of my life. I've always tried to get the spirit of some ballad or some folk tune or whatever, and then find my own way to do it. I really respect people who can teach guitar and go out and play exactly like Blind Blake or Blind Lemon Jefferson or something. I just think it's amazing what they can do. But ultimately, I'd rather hear Blind Lemon and Blind Blake do it. And but it's just a different style. That's more of a, to me, that's a classical approach to music. It's as if it's written and you learn how to do it. I've never, first of all, as I said, I've never been able to do it. And I ran into these great people up in Cambridge, and it put me on a life where I look for my own thing in all this stuff.
And that is it. He just put the nail in the coffin. There are my musician colleagues that I've met over the years who are absolutely amazing at playing exactly like the old masters did, and they're aware that they're they're copying somebody else's expression, way to put their fingers down and all that, and they're happy with that. And they say that, yeah, I'm just, interpreter. I just do this because otherwise these people would not maybe listen to Blind Blake or Blind Lemon Jefferson, as Jeff Mulder said just here. It's like, I respect that as well. And it is a classical approach. Like, this is the piece, this is how it was played. Now you know how to do it, and then you execute it. And hopefully those people will maybe become interested in old-timey blues and maybe go to listen to that. Nowadays, they cannot buy records. They can just go online and stream it. But, I mean, I guess somebody's getting something in the end. And it's actually about the education of people who are listening to that and understanding how all modern music of today is influenced by early jazz, early blues, country music, hillbilly, bluegrass, rockabilly, rock and roll, you name it. I mean, you know the drill. That's how it was done. I have a... yes, Albert, I'm aware of that. And let's say they do like this, right? Yeah, thank you. I'm aware of that, but I didn't think of it when I was trying to show it, because sometimes before I could just do like this and it would just, no, it won't. Okay. Sorry, dear camera, I wasn't treating you right. Thank you, Albert. Good tip. So one more thing about this with originality, how I started doing everything. Oh, I took the wrong guitar. I'm not finished with that yet. But we'll very soon go to the Mama Don't Lao. A song that just completely, changed my life was Deeper Blues. In 1981, I was 21 years old. I was doing my military service in former Yugoslavia. And of course, in the times of no war and just, nobody was fooling around then. My military service was to get some education as a telegraphist, and then I had like 6 months of basically do nothing but playing guitar in the army band. And a friend of mine that I met in the army, he was from Slovenia, and he gave me a cassette tape. And one whole side of the cassette tape was Doc Watson and Son in concert from 1971. And that's the record with lots of great flat-picking songs, finger-picking songs. There were just two of them on stage, and it was just an amazing, amazing record. And then I've heard Doc telling like, oh, I've learned this song by Delmore Brothers, but then I heard a fellow named Merle Travis, who kind of played this, right? And trying to put some of Delmore Brothers songs into that style. So Doc did this. Sorry. if I remember well. This was a that just completely blew me away. What on earth is he doing that? How is that done? Another new friend in the army who could play some finger picking said, "Oh, that's just an alternative finger picking." Okay. I mean, I could do Simon and Garfunkel Boxer at that time. I had this fluent like a... But I just couldn't translate that into this, what Doc Watson was doing, which means I had the technique, but I didn't know anything about the grooves and all that. So, of course, I sat down for hours and hours and tried to learn how this was played. And the first couple of years, when I came back from the army and started performing, and I was doing mostly blues program with my mouth harmonica player, Peter Joe, and my band Blues Trio, but I've always had a little kind of fingerpicking ragtime slot in the middle of the show where I just played my own stuff, what I really like to play besides old-timey blues, right? So I played Deep Red Blues. People loved it. So, oh God, he can play just like Doc Watson. And I was like, not really, but yeah, okay, I'm trying. So they were rewarding my brave tries of, imitating the big guy in those days. But over the years, this developed into my own way of playing Deep Purple Blues, which is heavily based on Doc Watson's version. But I've threw in some other stuff, and then after maybe 20 years of playing, it became like this. I can't remember everything right now, but basically I also had a so I was kind of syncopating. I was kind of putting in some of my own stuff, and then I also had this like in the end, river blue. Ain't no one to cry for me. And a fish I'll go out on a spree, 'cause I got them deep river blues. So it was this kind of jazzy progression, like a E, C sharp 7, F sharp 7, B, and E. And it was kind of imitating like piano rolls that were like a... So I threw all these licks into Deep Purple Blues, but sometimes just felt I'm doing too much. And then, I don't know, I got actually tired of playing it in standard tuning and in E. Now I'm playing it in open G with kind of the swingy approach, and I'm playing it with slide. And that was my journey over almost 40 years, let's say from 1981 to 2021, right? It took its time in my case. But on the other hand, if you watch how I'm playing, let's say, shuffle blues, I can do it in the styles of different masters, right? But I'm most influenced by Louisiana Red and his fantastic approach to syncopation, to the groove, and the way he plays gasline blues, let's say. He goes like... Tailing now, people, you ain't heard the latest news. Country's in the bad situation. You got the gas line blues. You got the gas line blues. He said, and he was influenced by many other players as well. And I've shown you in my live streams previously how I learned from John Hammond with his percussive thumb work with his right hand. He'd go like this. And this needs a very relaxed picking hand that just kind of flies. and then you add to it. And this is a driving force of acoustic blues shuffle that I'm doing when I'm playing live. And on top of that, I'm trying to sing the best I can. I'm not much of a singer. I've never considered myself a good singer, but I can tell a story. I can kind of push over the lyrics of the song, and most of the times people are kind of smiling at me, hopefully not laughing, but they're kind of happy. And I've had a great career where I could sometimes approach the original, maybe the very similar way, but then maybe humbly add something that's a bit my own. But especially when it comes to slide playing, that's where you can really have your own expression. And speaking of slide playing, let's go over to the lick of the week and the song of the week that I'd like to show you. A very simple melody played for Mama Don't Lie. This kind of extra little sounds that you're hearing is, when I move in the room and I have a wooden floor beneath my feet, and this microphone stand that's holding the microphone on top is a bit, wingly, so it's moving as soon as I move left, right, or something. So yeah, I'll fix it until the next week. Right. Do let me know if you liked the sound of this new microphone, and it's kind of very forgiving for me, moving from side to side, I guess, right? I've done some testing, and it's quite okay. The proximity on this one is larger, better than on the other dynamic microphone. The last maybe comparison. So this is the old microphone. MV7. And this is the Earthworks 314 SR. So, woo! You know the song, Mama Don't Lie, no music playing right here. Mama Don't Lie, no music playing right here. Well, we don't care what the mama don't lie, we're gonna play some music anyhow. Mama don't lie, no music play around here. And so on. That's the melody, right? Actually, this key is not really suitable for my voice. I would sing this in either E or C, but then I found this great melody in open G. So if somebody's learning how to play slide and wants to connect learning with playing a song and not just going through scales, because it's how interesting is doing this. Maybe first time, second time, third time, but then give me a break. I want to do something. I want to play a song. So here's a song. So, Mama don't lie, no music play around here. So, Mama don't lie, no music play around here. Sorry for the shouting. So that's the where the melody sits. If you want to play it with a nice feeling of really sliding towards the notes that are coming, like. Otherwise, it can be played like this from the 12th fret. So what you need to master here is a little bit of vibrato. Vibrato is the best way to practice it is either up on the 12th fret, because the strings are quite far away from the frets, and you can press a little bit and you can see what you're doing right beneath your eyes, and you do find the right pitch, and the pitch is on top of that fret with your slide. Then you dampen behind the slide by just lightly touching the strings, and then place your slide and then pick the strings. This is the key of a clean tone on the slide. I've described my method of getting a clean tone by usually using a 4-step method, which is I first place my fingers on the strings with my picking hand, then I put the damping finger on strings, then I place the slide where I want it to be, then I pick. Right? If I would play the 5th string on the first fret, the first string on the 5th fret with a slide, I would do like this. First finger on the string, dampen behind the slide, place a slide, play, vibrate. That's the way to do it, right? The whole hand is moving as one block, and the vibrato is done by anchoring your thumb here in the back of the neck, right? And the movement is sideways. Very, very smooth and small movements if you want to do it slowly, right? On the 5th fret, slowly. It's a millimeter and a half to each side maybe. And that's the vibrato there. If you do it a bit faster, then you can have larger movements like this. On the 12th fret, you can grab, let's say, 2 or 3 notes at the same time. About dampening is, I somehow managed to really lock this as a block. My index finger is usually never going higher than the slide. If I'm playing lower, let's say high strings, I would always come very much down with my slide and just grab it with the top of the slide. And the reason for that is because maybe I'd like to continue playing the chord. Very careful listeners and viewers of my live streams will maybe notice all of a sudden this guitar is very punchy. What did you do, Mac? Did you raise the volume on the microphone? No. I put a medium set on the guitar. So I have 16 on the first string, 18 on the second, and then 26 or even 28. Maybe I put that really hard G string. And then I have like 36, 46, 54. So it's a medium set, which I usually don't use, but I did it just to try it out, especially when I was about to play with lots of students and do the evening jams. And I thought, well, okay, maybe it's going to increase the volume of the guitar a little bit. I can pick a little bit harder, get heard in that wild jamming situations. But I will be more than happy to go back to my lights because this is too heavy to press on. The sound is too harsh. I just don't like it. So let's get back to Mama Don't Allow. So the melody could be like this. So it's on the 5th fret as the first note. Then you jump to the 9th fret and play each fret until the 12th. And from here, you just go somewhere between 10th and 11th fret with the slide on the first string, and then move to the 2nd string, then glide to the 12th fret, and then meet the note on the 3rd string. So the last lick is right. Whole melody again. One more time, the same thing. So this is one way to sing this melody. On the 2nd fret, the 2nd string, 12th, 10th, or come to the 7th fret. So the second part of the melody. this is when you combine a melody with kind of grabbing a chord that would kind of lead you to the next step of playing a song. So let me connect these two. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we come to the part where it, we don't care what the mama don't allow, which is on the 14th fret. So 14, 12 on the first string, and then the note on the 12th fret, second string. So that's it. Then this can be played a little bit more bluey, like a. And then you had, we don't care what mama don't allow, we're gonna play this music anyhow. And that note is here on the 8th fret. Together. We don't care what the mama don't allow, play that music anyhow. Now, without my voice. 2, 3, 4. And then we finish off with the first phrase. Mama don't. So the whole melody. That's the song. I believe I hope I've played it slowly enough so that you can see all the movements and all the notes. YouTube has this great plugin, slow downer, that you can use, and it's easy to kind of slow down all of the video without losing a pitch, which is fantastic for video instructions for music, playing instruments and all that. It's just fantastic. Right, I think we're done for today. Next week, on August 21st, I'm going to be talking about gig horror, gig situations where you just cannot control some things. And when it comes to audio, to things that affect your performance, and audience, I mean, they're not aware of that at all. And they don't even notice. Sometimes musicians get really, really pissed and believe that it sounded awful, and the audience just said, what? But still, we on stage have our own, vision of how we should and want to sound out there for the audience. And if something works against that and we cannot do anything about it, it's really, really putting us down. So I'm going to be talking about that. I might even have a guest who will help me to enlighten the whole problem. We'll see. But anyway, it's been a blast for today. Thank you for coming, and I hope to see you next week. Cheers, everybody.